Welcome to NFL Nexus. When a team has one single glaring weakness, one that costs them big games and really becomes the story of their entire season, the offseason turns into this fascinating puzzle. Today, we're diving deep into how the Dallas Cowboys are trying to solve that one problem that held them back, with a series of really calculated high-impact moves. All right, let's get into it. So coming into this offseason, the Cowboys had this massive, unavoidable question mark just hanging over their whole roster. It wasn't about their offense, that thing is a juggernaut. And it definitely wasn't about their pass rush with Micah Parsons. No, the whole issue, the team's Achilles heel, was all about what happened when the other team's quarterback dropped back to pass. This was problem number one, and the front office absolutely had to solve it. And there's your answer to just how bad it got. 32nd. That's where the Dallas Cowboys pass defense ranked last season. Dead last. We're not talking 25th or even 30th. There was not a single team in the entire NFL worse at defending the pass than Dallas. This wasn't just a weakness you could try to scheme around. It was a critical, systemic failure that needed an immediate, and I mean immediate, and decisive response. So to really appreciate the solution that Dallas is building, we first have to wrap our heads around the full scale of the problem. It wasn't just about giving up a bunch of yards. It was a lack of those game-changing plays and these consistent back-breaking breakdowns. Let's really break down what was broken before we see how these new pieces are supposed to fix it. I mean, if you watch them play, it was so obvious. The secondary was in desperate need of experienced, proven talent. They needed guys at both cornerback and safety to plug what felt like these endless holes that quarterbacks were just picking apart week after week. They didn't just need bodies to fill out the roster. They needed legitimate, starting-caliber NFL players who could walk in the door and make the whole unit better on day one. And the response from the front office was quick, and it was really specific. It all centered on two key free agent signings: cornerback Cobie Durant and safety PJ Locke. And as you can see here, this wasn't about just throwing giant contracts at the biggest names out there. No, this was a calculated, strategic approach. They were targeting players who checked very specific boxes, all while being smart with their money. Okay, let's dig into the first piece of this puzzle and see how this new secondary starts to take shape. We'll start with cornerback Cobie Durant, who they signed away from the Los Angeles Rams. He really represents the Cowboys' hunt for a pure playmaker, someone who can completely flip the momentum of a game with just one play on the ball. See, Durant has built his reputation in this league as a classic ball hawk, and that's not just a casual term. It really defines his whole style of play. He has this natural instinct for where the football is going, a real knack for reading a quarterback's eyes, and most importantly, the hands to finish the play. That specific skill, the ability to generate turnovers, is exactly what a 32nd ranked pass defense was so badly missing. His path to the Cowboys is a fantastic story of a small school guy making a huge impact. He came out of South Carolina State, a Division I HBCU that's actually produced some serious NFL talent over the years. He wasn't some first-round pick you see all over TV. He was a fourth-round guy who had to earn every single snap and every bit of respect he's gotten in this league. And boy, did he earn it. In his very first year, back in 2022, Durant went from being this relative unknown to a legitimate bright spot for the Rams. He had 3 interceptions, which is great for any rookie, but here's the key detail. He led the entire NFL in interception return yards. That tells you something important. When he gets his hands on the ball, he's not just ending a drive, he's a threat to take it to the house. And that production has been steady. He started 38 games, has 7 total interceptions, but look at this. Look at that 2025 playoff number. He matched his entire regular season total with another 3 picks in the postseason alone. 2 of those came against top prospect Caleb Williams in a huge divisional game. The guy clearly shows up when the lights are brightest.
But let's be real, he's not a perfect do-it-all corner, and Dallas knows that. His strengths, though, are a perfect match for what they were missing. He's got those amazing ball skills, a high football IQ, and he's a proven starter. On the flip side, yeah, he's not great in run support or as a blitzer, which makes sense when you see he's only about 182 pounds. He's a cover corner, plain and simple, and that's exactly what Dallas needs.
And the numbers from Pro Football Focus, well, they tell the exact same story. His overall grade is a solid 66.7, but that coverage grade of 67.4 is what really stands out. That ranked him as the 38th best cover corner out of 144 players. That's a legit starter. But then look at that run defense grade, 58.1. The analytics confirm it. His job is to defend the pass, and that's precisely the job Dallas is hiring him for. So you might be asking, if he's a top 40 cover corner, why was he even available? Well, it really comes down to timing and strategy. The Rams are kind of revamping their own secondary with younger guys, and they let him test the market. For Dallas, a team that's always trying to manage its salary cap, it was the perfect opportunity. They get a proven 28-year-old starter with elite skills on a team-friendly, one-year, prove-it deal. It's the definition of a low-risk, high-reward signing. All right, so that's Durant. Now let's talk about the other key piece of this defensive overhaul, safety PJ Locke. And as you're about to see, his story is about so much more than football. It's an incredible story of resilience, familiarity, and a lifelong dream coming true. For PJ Locke, signing with the Dallas Cowboys is a true homecoming. And I mean, this isn't just about playing in his home state. He is playing for his childhood team. He grew up right down the road in Beaumont, Texas, played for the Longhorns in college, and his entire family are huge Cowboys fans. You can feel how much this means to him in that quote. This is personal. And this timeline, wow, it just shows you the kind of fight this guy has. He went undrafted, got signed, and then cut by the Steelers before finally finding a home and carving out a role in Denver. But his biggest challenge came in early 2025 when he had this complex spine surgery that easily could have ended his career. To not only get back on the field, but to now sign with his hometown team, that just speaks volumes about his character. Okay, so the homecoming story is amazing, right? But there's a huge strategic reason for the signing: Locke's relationship with the new Cowboys defensive coordinator, Christian Parker. Parker was Locke's DB's coach in Denver for years, and that built-in familiarity is a massive advantage for everybody. Think about what a huge advantage that is. Locke doesn't have to learn a new playbook from scratch. He already gets the scheme that Christian Parker is bringing to Dallas. Parker's system relies on communication, and Locke can basically be a coach on the field from day one. Like he says, Parker is incredibly detailed, and that understanding just breeds confidence. It lets him be an instant impact player and a leader who can get everybody else lined up. And yeah, he brings production. We're not just talking about a guy who knows the scheme. He makes plays. These numbers here really show his versatility. 174 tackles, he's not afraid to come up and hit. 11 passes defensed and 2 picks, he can cover. But then you see 5 forced fumbles and 4 sacks. That tells you he's a disruptive player who can do a little bit of everything. A true Swiss Army knife for that secondary. So let's connect the dots here. We've looked at them as individual players, right? With their own stories and their own skills. But the real genius in this plan is how Cobie Durant and PJ Locke combine to form one single, cohesive strategy to fix this defense. So when you lay it all out like this, you can see the logic was crystal clear. They had to fix the league's worst pass defense, so they added 2 proven vets. They prioritized scheme familiarity with Locke, which gives their new DC a trusted leader on the field right away. They specifically went after Durant for his turnover ability, and they did all of it with smart, cost-effective deals. It's just a sound plan. And this is where it gets really cool, because it shows how they're not just 2 good players, they're a perfect pair. Durant brings that specialized ball hawking at corner, which creates this amazing dynamic opposite Daron Bland, who's another turnover machine. That could be a real no-fly zone. Meanwhile, Locke brings that versatile, high IQ leadership and scheme knowledge from the safety spot. They just fit together perfectly. So, with these 2 veterans now wearing the star on their helmets, let's take a look at what the Cowboys' defensive backfield might actually look like heading into the season. The big question is, has it really been transformed from a weakness into a strength? I mean, on paper, it's a huge upgrade, right? You've got Cobie Durant, who should slide right into that starting cornerback job opposite Daron Bland. That gives them 2 legit playmakers on the outside. At safety, PJ Locke provides instant, high-quality depth and can absolutely push for a starting job. He raises both the floor and the ceiling of that entire safety room. So think about it. In just one offseason, the Cowboys have taken their single biggest liability and turned it into a unit that now has experience, playmaking ability, leadership, and real depth. So the big question that's hanging over everything is, what does this all mean for the ultimate goal? And that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? The offense has been great for years. The pass rush is elite. The one thing that held them back, the weakness they got exposed again and again in big moments, was the secondary. Dallas has now gone out and aggressively, and I think strategically, fixed that flaw. Now we just have to wait and see if it's finally enough to get them over the hump. So what do you think of these moves? Are Durant and Locke the missing pieces for the Cowboys? I really want to know what you guys think, so drop a comment down below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and you want more deep dives like it, please subscribe to NFL Nexus and definitely hit that like button. It really helps the channel a ton.
And hey, one last thing. You can help support the channel directly by picking up one of our custom NFL-themed coloring books. They're a lot of fun for kids, grandkids, and honestly, they're a pretty great way for adults to unwind too. You can find them by using the link in the description below or by just scanning the QR code on your screen right now. Thanks so much for watching.